it's hard to welcome Melissa into the family because she's always been in the family. She's always been part, so we don't really know where to go from there without her. It wouldn't be the same. And no, Brian, thank you for everything you've done in his life. There's one little thing that I did come across. I guess the father and his son went to sleep one night, and a thunderstorm came up, and the son cried out in the night for his father, and his father went and laid beside him in the bed. And while he was laying there, the father thought the job was done. He had settled the child, but it wasn't right because the child leaned over and he grabbed his father's shin and turned his face towards him. So always turn your face towards each other.
Okay, for those of you that don't know me, I'm the bride's older sister, Sarah. I wanted to start off by congratulating the bride and groom. I know there are many of us in this room that have been waiting for this day for a very long time, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Brian, where do I start with you? I'll go back to the first time I met you. Remember? I was home from college for a break, and Melissa asked me to go to dinner and a movie with you, and that she was inviting you. After a series of awkward stares and questions of how tall could this guy really be, I looked across the table at the way Melissa looked at you and knew something was different. Fast forward 10 years later, and I consider our relationship that of a brother and sister. When I started telling people about the wedding, many people asked me how I felt about you. My response is always, I don't have enough good things to say about him. He's wonderful. I can't think of a more suitable partner for Melissa and a more perfect fit for this family. There are a lifetime of stories I could share about Melissa. The time she spilled fingernail polish on the floor and I got blamed for it. Or the time we got in a big mud fight after a rainstorm and got in trouble with Mom and Dad. But I'll share one of my favorites. Growing up in Madison, you spend a lot of time outside. Melissa and I love to build forts and make believe tree houses and would play in them for hours. One day, we discovered a branch that you could bounce up and down on. As you can imagine, this provided endless hours of entertainment until the day Melissa's leggings got stuck on the branch. This involved lots of running back and forth to Grandma's as Melissa hung upside down. I eventually had to wake Mom up from her nap so we could get Melissa down. Now that Melissa's days of imitating Tarzan are behind her, and she's grown into the sister, daughter, friend, and now wife we've all come to love. It's hard to put into the words the relationship that I have with Melissa, but there's a quote that we've shared with each other over a few times over the years that I think describes it best. She's the mirror shining back at you with a world of possibilities. She's your witness who sees you at your worst and your best and loves you anyway. She's your partner in crime, your midnight companion, someone who knows when you're smiling even in the dark. She's your teacher, your defense attorney, your personal press agent, even your shrink. Some days she's the reason you wish you were an only child. It's funny, as the older sister, I thought I would be doing all the teaching, but Melissa's taught me as much or more. Melissa, thank you for being the best sister and best friend that I could ask for. I'm so proud of the person you've become, and I'm honored to call you my sister. Lastly, I wanted to leave you two with a little bit of advice that I've learned in my 2 years of marriage. First off, choose your battles wisely. Melissa, Brian will never do anything you want him to do when you want him to do it. Take your differences and opinions and ideals in stride. Those are the same differences that strengthen your bond together. Don't nag. It only makes the situation worse. Trust me. As for you, Brian, learn this one phrase. Melissa, you are right. And your life will be much easier. Marriage is a series of ups and downs. When you hit one of those downs, remember the joy and love that you have for one another today. Melissa and Brian, may you always see and encourage the best in each other. May the challenges that life bring your way make your marriage even stronger, and may you always be each other's best friend and greatest love. Cheers.
Amen.